Hey, this is the Hard Truth of Tony Shaffer, powered by 6 Hour Never Settle. I had a choice of what I carried in combat. I always carry the best. I recommend you carry the bbest 6 hours. Matter of fact, I pulled out from my nightstand gun, which is a 6 Hour tungsten infused grip. I want to have something I can actually hit people with if I have to, just saying. It's the carry version of the SIG 320, B320. Excellent weapon. I highly recommend you pick 6 Hour for your personal defense needs, just saying. And we are also on the America Out Loud Talk Radio Network, also on the podcast network. Check us out, Project Sentinel, within their sphere of everything that they do. And check us out as an organization. Check projectsentinel.com, Project Sentinel on X or Twitter, whatever the hell it is. It's at PRJ _ Sentinel. That's us. And obviously, we also have a new sponsor we're talking about, Swiss America. Call for information relating to the secret war on cash. You need to have your family prepared to do what's necessary to protect yourself, protect your family from the difficult times coming. Today, they announced the information around the economy. We're still having over 3% inflation. There's a lot of reasons for it. Get the cash, the Secret War on Cash newsletter, 800-289-2646. It'll help you all do a better job of being prepared and protecting your family. So those are the things that I think are important. Protecting your family with guns, protecting yourself economically. So those are good. And obviously check out our old shows on thehardtruthwithtony.com. A full selection of our old shows are there. And without further ado, I'm going to introduce the team today. We have a special group of folks. Susan Olsen is here from the Brady Bunch, one of my dear friends. And Susan, welcome. We're going to be talking about a lot of things important. My sister from another mother, Cherie Currie. Cherie is here. Cherie is, the two of them and rocking and rolling and stirring up trouble, Susan and Cherie. So you guys should have your own TV series.
A lot of trouble.
That would be great. And I could be like Dick Van Dyke and roll in and stumble over things. It would be great.
Yeah.
And then speaking of stumbling over things, there's Chris Cordani, always running the boards despite no stepping on anything bad, right, Chris?
Most of the time, although we might want to check in with Elizabeth on that one.
That's right. And Elizabeth Breckenkamp, my dear friend from the old days, from the Army days, and we're going to be going through a number of key issues. I'm going to, by the way, before we get too far into this, I'm going to read you all a statement that I heard on NPR yesterday regarding the debate we're going to have. You're going to love it. I'm going to get your responses. But first, I have some bad news I got to put out. One of my dear friends, a friend, mentor, who's been like a father to me, Tony LoBianco, passed last night. Tony has been a great American. He's an actor, director. He's actually done some significant things behind the scenes that people didn't fully know about. But he is a guy who was also in a movie called The French Connection, Sal Buca, great guy. He passed last night. There's an article in the Daily Mail. I'm sorry, the New York Daily, whatever that thing is, that's out today, talks about him. So he was a consummate patriot. He held quiet meetings with us behind the scenes to try to help us focus what we're doing on the policy side. So Tony's going to be missed. His wife Elise was at his side last night when he passed late at night. I was able to go see him 2 weeks ago. I gave him a Bronze Star. As a matter of fact, we did a little ceremony, one of our board members, and we thanked Tony for everything he had done. And I am grateful that I had about 2 hours with him 2 weeks ago to just kind of talk about everything. So we always talk about, going to see people after they pass. I was very blessed to actually spend some time with him. So also his last public appearance was at the first annual Veterans Parade. I had the honor of being the Grand Marshal for. Tony came out and supported it. He actually did a live read of Just a Common Soldier. So Chris, you got that teed up. Let's play a little bit about that if you don't mind.
Getting old and punchy, and his hair was falling fast.
And he sat around the Legion telling stories of the past, of a war that he had fought in, and the deeds that he had done, and his exploit with his buddies. They were heroes, everyone. And though sometimes to his neighbors his tales became a joke, all his Legion buddies listened, for they knew whereof he spoke. But we'll hear his tales no longer, for old Bill has passed away. The world's a little poor, for a soldier died today.
Yeah.
It was an excerpt of Tony LoBianco reading
Tony.
the poem. Yes, it was. And you can find that on justacommonsoldier.com. The entire read of A. Lawrence Van Court's poem, "Just a Common Soldier."
So we're going to reach out to a mutual friend, Cherie. I won't tell you who it is, but you probably have a good idea, who's very close to Tony as well, who also has family members past. We're going to see if he'll be willing to come out and maybe do the read on Tony's behalf this coming November. So God bless you, Tony. To quote from Babylon 5, I'll see you outside the rim someday. So we'll definitely see him again. So he would have us move on and do the show, and that's what we're going to do. So today we're going to be talking with Susan and Cherie over some of their work. You've been making the rounds in a good way. And Cherie, I'm very proud of having the privilege of helping amplify your message regarding the issues relating to is it Pride Month now? They just call it Pride Month.
Yeah.
I've ordered my gerbil pride flag. I don't know why we don't do gerbils as part of our kind of LGBTQ. How would you do that, Chris, by the way? LGBTQ, where would the gerbil fit in?
Yeah,
Well, I have to be careful with that.
the G, right? Wouldn't the gerbil be in
Did
the
I
G?
say that? Oh my
Yeah.
God, did I say that?
Where would
Jesus.
fit in?
You killed me. Can I grab a tissue, Tony? I'm sorry.
Yeah, that's okay, Cherie. No, I'm pushing my way through it. So,
Oh,
but
my
pushing
God.
your way
Like
through
like the gerbil. Anyway,
Oh, that's what the gerbil said. Yeah.
boy, we're gonna get in trouble for this.
we are. We're going to get in so much trouble.
Wait,
By the way, Tony would love this right now. Tony was like, "You go get him. You
Well, in that
go,
case,
girl."
we just call them the
So-
alphabet people. That's about
Yeah.
it at this point.
The
There's too many
alphabet
of them.
people.
It's
Too
an
many of them.
animal. Am I asking seriously? How does a gerbil fit in?
That's
LG
disgusting.
Well,
gerbil BTQ.
I have
There we
so
go.
many. I mean, Gays Against Groomers. Jamie, who is the president, founder of Gays Against Groomers. They are so against this nuttiness, and I just so support. Most of our friends are gay, right, Susan?
I know.
Oh my gosh,
I mean,
absolutely.
and I have
Yes.
trans friends. I mean, Moni
Yeah.
on X and Miss Guy in New York, and we played together. And
My
so the thing is
father.
that, a lot of them are very much against what they're doing to children, and they are doing it to children.
Yep.
And I mean, it's a horrific thing. And to me, I see it like a mold, like a black mold that if you don't keep it in check, it will destroy the foundation of your home, of everything.
I know.
And that is what
That's
has
a
happened
perfect
with this
analogy.
trans-
Right.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
So I agree. So let's
Exactly.
I want to start there because so much. I was listening yesterday because they were on NPR talking about Pride Month, and it's one of the phrases that caught my ear, and I wrote it down. Is, and I'm going to say this. I'm quoting. I'm not saying this as Tony Shaffer. I'm saying this quoting NPR. Women are a problem looking for a solution.
Okay.
Where to go?
That's
No,
from
I-
NPR, huh?
Wait, what a
So
stretch.
yeah, so this is who they are. The left. It's like, oh, we see women.
Yeah.
Women are a problem, and they're looking for solutions. Like, no. We are all trying to get along, and the idea somehow that victimhood is the thing that the moment you call them out on anything, oh, you're anti this, you're trans, you're somehow you're the problem, not them.
Right.
And the idea
my
that
God.
somehow women who want to be women, oh, women are a problem looking for a solution. It's like, what? What?
No, you're our effing problem, okay?
Yeah, I know.
Mhm.
So that's where I want to start, because so much of what we face, and Chris knows, one of the guys I love, well, not really, but you know what I mean, is Taco. Taco and I are friends. I love
Good
Taco.
fellow. He's a good
He's
fellow.
uber gay. He's like uber gay. I'm fine with that. What do I care? But he's like us against the whole grooming thing. It's like, no. Kids need to be left alone. So how is it let's start with you, Cherie, because I think you've been the one. You got a concert canceled in England over this, right? Is that still count? Yeah. So let's start off with you on this, because like you said, we have many friends, some are mutual, who are against this, and it has nothing to do with homosexuality, right?
No, it doesn't. And for me, I look at this trans cult movement like drug pushers. When I was in elementary school and I was talking to Susan about this, I got so just so pissed off about that they were introducing transgenderism to children and non-binary. I mean, pushing this idea to kids. And I started looking at some old pictures of me from grade school, from Hesby Street School, kindergarten through 6th grade. And I knew that I'd never thought ever, not even about sex. When I was graduating, there's a picture of me. I know I didn't think about sex. I never thought about gender. I never thought about color. And the thing is that, it's like drugs. I wasn't even introduced to drugs or transgender people until I started doing the club scene when I was, 14, 15. I had no clue. So the thing is I lived a really, really great, fun childhood. What they're doing is they're injecting this into the minds of babies. I look at them as babies, as young, impressionable children. Yeah. And they are inserting this moldy, this black mold, and making that all encompassing, the most important. It's more important than their history, than their math. It's more important than anything that now lacks in schools today. It's a social agenda, and it is killing kids, and especially when you're trying to fit in. And these kids will do anything to fit in.
Right.
And all of a sudden, well, if I could be part of the group, if I could be the cool kid, then I'm gonna say I'm non-binary, or I mean, to me, these people are modern day Mengelas, like Susan says too. These people, they are killing the future of our children.
Yeah.
Or the Dr. Ishis, if you will. There we go.
Yeah.
And Mini Mengele is a moniker I kind of reserve for Fauci.
Yeah.
But these are
especially for the dogs, by the way, when it comes to Fauci.
I don't know. I think that his use of foster children.
It's like being a drug pusher. They're pushing this drug.
Yes.
And it's there's nothing positive about it whatsoever, because it's such a fringe, small minority, and now it has exploded like projectile vomit all over the civilized world.
Right. Yeah, you know why they're pushing it on children, not adults or senior citizens, because the children, the very young children, are the most vulnerable. Exactly. And that's why we have to speak up for it. They need advocates, and a lot of this. And I agree, Cherie, completely. But a lot of this, I'm thinking the parents are giving their consent to this. And that's what really bothers me, too. I mean, it's like, I don't know if they're being brainwashed also, or if they don't really completely understand their rights as parents, like, the more liberal states like California, but even in the other states where you wouldn't expect this to be happening. It's like parents don't seem to completely have a grasp on what's happening to their kids, and they need to really step up and take control, like you're saying, and it's they're going for the vulnerable.
Thank God for COVID. We wouldn't know.
Yes,
we really would not know.
Exactly.
So, but
part of saw how fear works.
The pandemic really exposed a lot.
So, but part of this goes back to the culture. Now, Cherie, you talked about I started bartending at 14 in Lisbon when I was a kid, doing stupid stuff like that. But our stupid stuff is nothing compared to what's going on. And Susan, you're kind of a flower child. You kind of had an interesting upbringing, and I don't think you would consider yourself conventional in a good
Or normal.
way. Yeah, a normal. I mean,
you can say normal.
But this is the thing. It's like everything that you've looked at, and we've talked about this both online and offline. There are elements of society who are literally out to diminish and demean children, victimize them to the point of where they are essentially treated as chattel. I do believe, and I'm going to say this, and I may get in trouble for it. I think this whole grooming thing is simply meant to demean and degrade children so they become an item of commerce for some on the left who want to use them and abuse them.
Right.
What do you think?
And Big Pharma too. I mean, Big Pharma. I mean, that's a lifetime membership.
Yeah.
There you go.
We saw that a few years ago too.
That's right. Because once they start taking all the hormones and all the treatments, you can't stop, and so that's a lot of money.
Right.
That's a good point.
I have a friend or an ex-friend who was a teacher, and she would argue with me about this whole idea that, well, it's a good idea to have these kids, and we should teach them and make sure there are options out there for these kids to know. And she's far from being a groomer. She kind of drank the groomer Kool-Aid, though, if you will. But she's going on and on about this. She goes, I can give you a good example. Jazz Jennings. I read I Am Jazz to these kids when I need to, or I know that I Am Jazz is a good book for young kids, which is not. First off, Jazz Jennings, and they said that's a perfect example. This is somebody whose parents made her transition. Now it's unhappy with what happened, and it's very unhappy with the transition.
Let's take Jazz for a moment. Let's take her
a lifetime of
unfortunate
abuse
situation. They started transitioning her at 9.
The parents did this.
She with the hormones, and all of this awful stuff. First of all, she's never experienced an orgasm, never will. Now she's an adult. Her penis was so tiny by the time that they went to give her bottom surgery that there wasn't enough skin to create a vagina for her. And she almost, the most painful, awful thing is that she is maimed for life. She will never be able to have sexual intercourse, whatever that may be for her. Never have never be able to enjoy intimacy on that kind of a level. And she is she's an asexual transgender robot.
Yeah.
I see very, very little emotion in her whatsoever. She knows no other way. And her parents, to me, I look at it as like Munchausen's by proxy. They were the cool parents. And you know what they did is they absolutely destroyed her. And even my son really gets mad at me when I talk about Jazz. Because
they made some money off of this too, by the way. The parents made money off of this.
I mean, I've never seen parents so irresponsible and so negligent in my life as what her parents did. And I hope to God that they are the poster children for why not to do this.
And it's a very swampy area to navigate because there's black and white and shades of gray, and unfortunately evil likes to insert itself into good intentions and compassion and all the right things.
Right.
I can't help but be reminded that I teach acting and filmmaking in a performing arts school, which we have many trans. I mean, we had a 14-year-old who was perfectly happy to come out as a gay young man. And I just adore him. And I love the fact that he had this safe space and that he was comfortable enough to do that. That, to me, is progress. We also have children that are very confused. And I think they're confused because there's a lot of peer pressure. And it was several years ago, and now it would be outdated, but I wrote a scene, since it came to me, a scene about a boy who was afraid to tell his progressive parents that he wasn't gay.
Ooh.
Interesting.
Because it showed signs of being gay. They were getting a divorce. They immediately got him a shrink, and he thought he had a crush on another guy, so he starts talking about it. The shrink immediately encourages him and says that he's very brave to come out and blah 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 blah. And as time rolls on, he starts getting into puberty, and he's realizing he's not into guys.
Yeah.
But meanwhile, his parents have invested their entire identities in having a gay son.
Yeah. But that's projection on that's not fair to the kid to have that level of pressure.
Yeah.
But it doesn't matter to these people. They now become the cool parents. They don't care about it's again like Jazz's parents.
Yeah.
They became the cool parents, and they're going to get media attention. They're going to get special praise or whatever else for whatever. And of course, in the little acting community or anywhere else in the little community, they're going to or the internet community, if you will, they'll get all these accolades, and they're going to feed off of it in the future.
Yeah.
Whereas the child again suffers. Now, like you said, Susan, a 14, 15-year-old gay teenager needs the safe space, needs somebody to talk to say, "Hi, I'm gay." What the person does not need is a professional saying, "Well, if you think you're gay, why don't you give it an experiment? There's no shame. You should just go forward and do this."
Let me address
Or
that
to
real quick.
encourage it. Say, no, this is what you are. Now, the 14-year-old, he's wonderful. I mean, he's got loving parents. Everything is cool because he's just accepted. But my son thought he might be gay. And, my attitude is just, hey, that thing between your legs has a mind of its own, and it always will.
Yeah.
But it hasn't made up its mind yet.
Yeah.
And so, you know what? If you are gay, great. I went out and when Tinky Winky, the gay Teletubby, was going through all kinds of consternation, I mounted a Tinky Winky on my dashboard because my son was about 3 and looked very effeminate. And I'm like, I want him to know it's okay. And it was okay with me. It was totally okay with me. And as time grew, I mean, gosh, when he was little, he wanted boobs. And I shudder to think of what he might be convinced of today.
Well, right.
We have to be very, very clear that there is absolutely nothing fair about this for children.
No.
There is nothing fair
you're
about a queer or a storybook hour or
drag queen story hour.
Yeah, but Tinky Winky carrying a purse is okay.
About taking a child to a gay pride parade. There is nothing fair to let them see these naked men in the most lewd acts on the street, and they've taken it too far, and now the cavalry is coming. Yeah. And that is our job.
Yep.
But why?
It's lewd and it's disgusting, and anyone that thinks it isn't is demented in my view. Yeah. Demented.
But see, but the fact that it could be carried so far is what's really the issue, because I've always turned down any invitation to be in a pride parade because I don't think that your sexuality should be on parade.
I want to talk about the second part of the show.
Right, exactly.
But now it's become so degenerate. Well, I'm sorry, but we have laws against indecent exposure. Emphasis on the word indecent. Yeah. Why are those laws not being enforced?
Selectively enforced.
Because they're Democrats who want more votes.
Right. Well, one of the things I want to bring up real quick before we go to break is Cherie's book, Neon Angel, Over My Shoulder. See, Neon Angel, always over my shoulder.
I have the last line right here.
Yeah. And
the last line.
But Cherie, in your book, and we've talked about this on and off air, you love Bowie. Remember, I sent you a T-shirt with Bowie recently. Mm-hmm. And you didn't want to become actually Bowie, though. I mean, you loved him as an artist, but can you imagine if someone back then, if you went through that now, they'd be trying to give you a penis permanently?
Oh, no doubt. I mean, I would have been on puberty blockers or cross-sex hormones.
Exactly.
I mean, I was dressed like him. I
Yeah.
actually swung the other way for a while, you know. I mean, you know, you go through this impressionable period in your life where, you know, experimentation is fun and it happens to be quite natural. Thank you very much.
Yep.
And anyone that says that they haven't thought about being with the same sex is lying. Because it does come into your mind one time or another in life. It just does. It just it's wired into us, probably because, you know, males actually in utero were females first before they grew the penis and all that. I mean,
well, I don't think that happens with everybody. So yes, that's that. Now, when I went out with weightlifting the other day,
is that not true? I mean,
No,
is that not true?
we got to get a break here. We got to go
time that everyone has thought about it, and that's natural, and you know, so yeah.
No, we got to go to break here real quick. But I do note that some guys still haven't had their like testicles drop, like Eric Swalwell. I'm hoping someday they'll drop. That'll make him more of a man.
I
think that was the problem with the Chinese spy chick. It's like, hey, you don't have any balls. Like,
well, we didn't kick him hard enough. Do you think we could drop him?
Well, we should drop him.
Kick him in the hard enough.
You could drop him. I don't know if you guys knew. You read Darkheart. So Operation Darkheart. You know, I went out with it turns out. I don't know if I found out later she was a lesbian. So it turns out I'm a lesbian apparently too. I didn't know that, but is that
yeah,
okay?
you are. Oh, we knew that.
Apparently I am, right?
We were talking about you.
That's right.
my inner female.
My coming out.
It's obvious.
Chris, this is my coming out show. I'm coming out as a lesbian. Just saying.
So now we're changing to the hard truth with Tony Shaffer. There we go.
That's right. All right, we got to take a break. We're halfway through the Hard Truth with Tony Shaffer. We'll be right back after this short break. Hey, this is the Hard Truth with Tony Shaffer, part 2, powered by 6 Hour. Never settle. As I showed you all at the beginning of the show, if you're not watching, you should. My P320 with the tungsten grip, highly recommend for home defense. And oh, by the way, I forgot to mention it. Our bumper music is provided, theme and bumper, by Cherie Currie. You might know her. She's on the show today. That's right. So, Cherie, thank you. I always give you a shout out, by the way. Thank you for letting us use your song, Rock and Roll Oblivion. And man, have we felt like we've been in oblivion. And as you were saying, we're coming out of oblivion. We're going to do some good things. Anyway, quickly, Swiss America, check them out. Check out their walking silver $50. You all need to have things which are real. We're talking about real things today. You need things that are real in your life, especially when you're facing economic challenges. So those economic challenges can be better weathered if you actually have metal, hard goods. So check them out. Swiss America, 800-289-2646. Tell them Tony Shaffer sent you. And check out that dollar. And we're projectsentinel.com and .net. And look for our old shows on thehardtruthwithtony.com. All right, we're continuing with our discussion. Susan Olsen and Cherie Currie join the crew today with Chris Cordani, the effervescent Chris Cordani, and the Novanik. Can we say Novanik? Like she's like a Nova, like all the Elizabeth Brecken.
Oh, Nova like. Okay.
That's right, Nova like. Nova. Remember that from Planet of the Apes? Nova.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I remember the car.
You damn dirty apes. So that's my Charlton Heston for today. Yes, you did it. Anyway, so we're back with no apes. No apes. This is an ape-free zone for today. But we are talking about some very serious subjects regarding transgenderism. So one of the things I want to open the second part of the show, Susan, I'm going to give you the lead here in a second. But one of the things the military is now using, and I know this from talking to folks on the inside, they're using transgender surgery as an incentive. Now, I'm all for consenting adults to do whatever they want. But now, say if Chris wanted to become Christina, they're going to launch him into $200,000 worth of surgery. By the way, it's about $200,000 to get the full bottom surgery. That is, Chris, if you wanted to be a
which
girl.
Is 100% failure rate, by the way.
Well, that was the next thing I was going to say.
Yeah,
because there's no success. It's all about getting it done. And but then Cherie, this is something that I think you and I would agree is kind of like a head scratcher. You can't be deployed. The moment surgery fails, the moment you're on these hard drugs, you can't be deployed to do combat. Right. So you kind of you actually become a ward of the state. So, Susan, back over to you because I know you had some thoughts about this thing.
Yeah, but examine that right there, because I would say that is a self-fulfilling prophecy, that the people that started that whole program intended to take down our military.
Ooh.
Oh, I agree.
Right.
I agree.
Because they know they'll be non-deployable. So now we have
Yes.
more and more military people who are non-deployable.
That lovely Chinese doctor who gave so much advice.
Yeah, because he's so intelligent. The garden gnome guy, the little bitty.
Yeah,
Oh,
did
there
you
we
guys
go.
get word on that? Did you know that now that Fauci's kind of being investigated, he's now hiding out in a house in Hoboken as a garden gnome? Did you know that?
Oh,
Yeah.
I could see that.
I
Yeah.
thought he
Those
was
are secrets.
Damn, love that guy.
I
You
thought it
better
was
not come near my
Argentina.
house because my cats will catch him and eat him and leave his guts.
Mine
hanging out.
already do.
Oh, there was an
You have
issue
a
about
Fauci, little Fauci play dog.
Yes,
that
hanging
cats
from
like
his
to steal. I love it.
the Democrats were talking about using Dr. Fauci as the replacement for Joe Biden for the 2024 election to run for president. So they were testing him out recently. The problem was he's not going to be able to get elected dog catcher anywhere. So, but that's a different story, right?
Oh.
He does use a smaller version of the pins. The pins undergarments are smaller on Fauci. They're like the G.I. Joe size.
Yeah, that's for the preemies.
Yeah.
And I
They're
love the
pretty-
fact that he's being dragged out in front of Congress and all that. But we know nothing's going to happen to the guy. You know,
Yeah.
I mean, the only thing that's going to happen is that, that he just can't hide his crimes.
Right.
But they're not going to do anything
But
to him.
so this is the point I'm trying to make here for you, Susan, and you, Cherie, both, is like they use science as a method of inflicting their
agenda.
death cult policies on us. I mean, look, this transgenderism thing is like, I don't care if you want to go do it and you're adult, go knock yourself out. You need to be informed of the consequences. And this is why I brought up the military thing. When I was talking to someone who knows about this directly, and I said, when people enlist and they're given the full Monty, or like you lose the full Monty, I don't know what the term would be when you decide to go through the transition. Are you told about the downside? Are you told about the long-term consequences? Are you told, Cherie, about the fact that, hey, the surgery is probably going to fail eventually, and all these things you think are going to be sewn up, well, they're going to come unsewed. You're going to be like the Scarecrow on Wizard of Oz, except instead of straw, you're going to have blood coming out. So I'm just saying, they're not told these things. And I don't think it's fair to individuals who actually are adults to not be told, hey, these are the bad downside. What do you think on that?
Exactly. And, I want to bring up a movie that Susan and I are highly invested in. It's called Leaving Amy. And it is about a little girl at age 5 who had gender dysphoria. And in England, and anyway, went forward with the transition at a very young age. More towards, adulthood, but had her breast cut off. Ugh. And I mean, horrible infections, all of these cross-sex hormones, puberty blockers. Now, ticks where she slaps herself in the face. She has now taken back her name, Amy. She was Matt for many years. Now she's taken her name back, her Amy. And so Susan and I, we really are also need people to invest in this film. And so anyone, just go to leavingamy.com and watch the trailer for this film. Susan's shooting here at my house. The whole crew will be here, as well as Amy and her wife, Jude, and Susan and I really, yes. Oh, fantastic.
So I'll promote it on social media too, because I want to get this out. I appreciate. So what's the name of the site again, Cherie?
It's called leavingamy.com. And right now, we're trying to, I've invested all that, but they need funds to even come out here to shoot at my home. Susan and I are doing this film. Just to be able to be there for support. And
excellent.
I absolutely love her. Amy is just one of the strongest, most amazing people I've ever met. And if she could save one person, as she says in the trailer, she will die happy. And that is an individual that I will follow and love for the rest of my life, because she'll never be the same. And she's in pain all the time. And this is not what she expected. So it's a very important film. And thank you, Susan, for being involved in it as well. LeavingAmy.com. Please go and invest. I mean, donate just anything, a little bit. It doesn't even, please help us get this film out. Children need to see it, and adults. Parents.
And I'm like chomping at the bit. Understand, this is not anti-trans.
Right.
There are trans success stories. It's just that when you have a 600% increase in the number of kids that are identifying as trans, there could be a fashion trend here.
Yes.
This is something that is extremely dubious surgery. And what gets me the most is just about every D-trans story I see where they transitioned when they were underage. They were not informed. They were not told that the puberty blockers were irreversible.
Well, Amy said that they lied to her.
The most famous trans person that I know of, Chaz Bono. Chaz has never had bottom surgery, and he was a pioneer in all of this. He's never had bottom surgery because, as he said, the technology has not come anywhere near it being a safe thing to do or an effective thing to do. And safe and effective seem to be words that have lost their meaning these days.
Well, let's put it this way. When you get a medical procedure, doctors are required to tell you that there are going to be risks to any surgery. But for some reason, this elective surgery, even for minors, is encouraged and not even and only portrayed in a positive light. And that's because there are people who want to build an army. They don't care about the welfare of the person getting the surgery. They don't care. And I'll tell you what, if you're 18 and over, you're allowed to do this. That's fine. Stay away from the kids. Even if they're 17, the second that person turns 18, they can do what they want. But you know what kids do when they're 9 to 17? They LARP, live action role playing. Maybe they feel like there's somebody else, or they want to do it for a year. These are permanent transitions, and children, especially
maiming transition,
right,
and removing from the family,
right.
Yeah. Well,
making the parents null and void, which I think is the most sinful part of this. It is trying to get kids away from the people who love them the most.
Right.
Yeah, exactly. But I worked at Walter Reed. I worked at Children's Hospital. I worked at different places, and not once did I ever work with a doctor or a nurse or any healthcare professional who even had the notion of doing that. I've never worked with anybody who has ever done that kind of surgery or even promoted that kind of surgery. So I can't imagine working in a clinic or a hospital or anywhere where these people, I'm curious to know where these people are doing these medical procedures. You know what I mean? It's almost like it's very hush-hush. Like they're kind of hiding their location. Like they don't want to tell us. They don't want us to know. Well, I don't know of any place that I've ever worked where they would do that.
I know
some. Hospital.
I know some.
There was a place that they stopped. That it's illegal. Okay, we're not doing that. And then the whistleblower
we won't do it, but they're still doing it. They're just hiding where the location. I want to know where.
Yeah. What's this purpose? Is it just to get the kids on drugs for life?
I think that there's something else, to be honest. Well, and the reason why is because the left has been pushing young adults to not have children, to focus on a career and all this. And then almost in the same breath, they turn around and they say that the surge at the southern border, we need to replace the childless couples, children. And so it's like, wait a minute. I mean, it can't be both. And to me, it just shows the insidious loathing that they have for children, for
Americans.
You're Americans, right? You can't turn around and tell people don't have children, and then turn around and say, "Well, we need all these millions of illegals, to replace the population." It's absurd, and they're stealing happiness from all of those young kids, young adults, to have children of their own, because there is nothing like it. There is no love greater than that. we know this, and
Mhm.
they are stealing, and it just leaves people to die alone without children. I mean,
Right.
it just is awful. It's just absolutely criminal. The left.
It is.
Criminal.
You're right.
Right. We all had flawed parents. Nobody is perfect, but to let us be kids. We we had a good childhood. You guys were much more in the limelight than I was, just saying. But I mean, very clearly, we came through. We all saw the dark side for what it is. We came through. We recognized that the path of light, I'd like to believe we're all in the path of light here, is the way to go. But you get there by recognizing the evil that we see. And most of what we're talking about is evil. Susan, you've talked about some of the radical Islamic issues. I saw you post on it the other day. It's like, that's pure evil. Cherie, you're going through and being very clear, very factual and unemotional about something that the left is constantly emotional about. I mean, you cannot talk about science and the reality we're talking about here. The moment you bring it up, they become emotional. It's like, you're against it. That's insane.
They like to say that it's Christians who are bigots, and they're trying to save the children from parents who don't want their kids to be gay. Well, excuse me.
There's
one ideology that kills gay people, and you won't say anything negative about them.
That's
the
true.
left are in bed with them.
Did you see that run-in in Philadelphia?
That's so true.
Did you see that run-in in Philadelphia with the gay pride parade and the Islamic, the Palestinian parade?
Oh, that was so funny.
That was funny.
Oh, that was great.
It needed yakety sax in the background.
Must see.
Now listen, you guys, I do have to tell you that because we started a little bit late, I'm going to have to bow out. I've got a podcast with Gays Against Groomers.
Oh, good. Well, Cherie, first off,
my love.
Yeah, look, Cherie, I love you. You're an amazing woman. Thank you for everything you do to tell us what we need to understand and speak the truth. Well,
it's a calling. It's a calling, Tony. Like the stage or the chainsaw. It's a calling for all of us. I mean, if you cannot protect children, you stand for nothing. Right. And we're not ever going to back down, and we're gonna keep on rocking. I love you guys.
Speaking of walking, we're all going to be out there on your birthday on the 1st of November, right, Susan?
Yay!
We'd like to do that. Yes.
He's going to fly in, and we're going to do a hit or two of his. John,
I'd really like to see him.
But in November, you might be rehearsing for your USO tour.
Yeah.
Oh, I hope so.
Hey, by the way, I used to be able to do a killer version of Hotel California. Maybe we could sing that together.
I love it. I love you guys.
All right, we love you too.
Take care, Cherie. See you soon.
Bye.
Now, you know what else we love, Tony?
Huh?
My favorite part of the show is that's what I love. That's right. It is time for Tony's Takes, and that is powered by Sig Sauer. And Susan, I'm happy to have you here for Tony's Takes, because now it's going to be Tony's, Elizabeth, and Susan's Takes.
Yeah.
All right, let's go for the easy one. Hunter Biden was convicted, but the Democrats and liberal media are already running defense and trying to use the case to argue against the massive lawfare against Trump, saying, "Well, see, it's BS. Look at us." I know our audience is much smarter than that, though. What's your take?
So he's already started his defense because he's transitioning to be Huntress Biden. So he'll be wearing skirts. He's going to take the lead in the gerbil freedom movement. Just saying,
These poor gerbils.
You will never let the gerbil thing go, will you?
Why can't you just use inanimate objects like light bulbs, like normal people, I suppose? But
I feel for the lemmings.
I do
because
too.
They're constantly besmirched and compared to leftists.
Yep, that's true.
And they don't jump off cliffs. They never did.
Comparing them to lemmings is like when Roseanne Barr was really mean to apes by comparing them to Valerie Jarrett.
Oh,
you see, I understand what she meant by that tweet. So
I did too. I got it too.
Exactly.
No, the left took it out of context
deliberately.
It's only the left that compare black people to apes.
Exactly.
Notice that?
Not us.
Yes. Exactly.
It was their projection of their
projection. I was going to say that it's projection
on us. Yeah, no, I can't believe people didn't back her up more. I'm just
Cowards.
Yeah.
Oh, the Hollywood is so filled with cowards. I think collectively there might be 5 spines in the whole community.
Well, so can I say this on the air? So if everybody
Go
knows,
ahead.
Susan and Cherie send me pictures of some of the events they go to and how remember that wedding you guys went to and you guys were sending pictures of last year?
Yeah.
That was funny. It's just you guys get to see all this stuff up front. And Cherie were there. It's like, it's just so funny because you guys are accepted and yet somehow you see through it. It's like you guys are the one, you're the adults in the room and everybody else is kind of off on the
Well, there were a whole lot of closeted conservatives there.
Well, that's good to know.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
There used to be an entire club in Hollywood.
I heard.
I heard about this.
Yeah, Friends of Abe. And it's no longer.
That's too bad.
But I was at a dinner honoring one of the founders, and everybody at the table is going, "Are you one of us? Are you one of us?" And I'm like, "Will you stop whispering? Say it loud. Say it proud. We're not going to get anywhere if we keep hiding."
Conservative pride.
One of my friends who's been on our show, and I don't want to say this because he only talks about certain things because he can't, but he said that his wife would get upset with him if he comes full conservative because he wouldn't work as much. And I'll tell you off air who it is. But I get it. I feel his pain, and he's very popular. He's been in a number of really cool TV series. And it's like, I get it. You know, you got to be a little bit careful, about speaking out. So it is what it is.
Well, I'll never work as an actress, but I haven't wanted to since I was 23. And, that's nearly 40 years ago. So, but yeah, I'm sorry. I picked up a friend. I don't watch the Oscars anymore because I really don't like circle jerks. And I had a friend that was playing at the Baked Potato that night and picking up a mutual friend to go see him. And she had the Oscars on. I'm looking around, and when I saw everybody with their little pro-Palestine pins on their lapels, I'm like, that's it. I'm done. I am done. You couldn't broadcast anymore how evil you are.
Yeah. I just texted you the name, Susan. I just texted you the name, but don't read it out.
Oh, okay.
It's the new thing. It's the new thing. It was Ukrainian.
Oh, I happen to know that person.
Yeah.
Who was incredibly friendly to me backstage, and then I realized why. And I'm like, God bless you.
There you go. Yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
He's a great guy. No, he calls me when he's concerned about. I mean, he's really concerned. He'll like, hey, what do you think about this? So he's engaged, but he knows, he still wants to work. So there it is. So there you go.
So we need a conservative pride parade. That's what we need.
So
a what?
A conservative pride parade. There we go.
Conservative pride. Okay. Oh, is that another Tony's take?
How about common sense parade?
Yeah.
There we go. Yeah, we can all wear cool suits. There we go.
Because
not afraid to think parade.
I've got
not
friends
afraid to think for yourself parade.
Yeah. It's like, Chris, some of the rock and roll guys you've introduced me to are us, but they don't consider themselves conservatives. They're just common sense.
Right.
It's like if you.
Same here.
I guess I can say this on air. Go to Taco's Facebook. He's always posting stuff that pokes the other side. Just saying.
Yeah. Yes. He pokes.
And he's, just saying. And
most people.
No, let me say this. He actually showed. This is for you. He actually showed the other day Kermit's divorce to Miss Piggy. He was frying Miss Piggy up and eating her. Just saying. So I thought that was pretty.
Albert and Ernie, I won't even go there.
Wow, there's a divorce for you.
That woman's horrible. She's abusive. She beats the crap out of Kermit every
Miss Piggy.
All right. So she deserves to be on a frying pan. Okay, so that's a different story for a different day. But
you're not talking about Hillary again, are you? Are you talking
Uh,
about Hillary again? I don't think. Well, I don't know about
that. Miss Hillary.
So Susan, I got to ask you, whose mustache hair is darker, Nancy Pelosi's or Hillary Clinton's? Did you notice that? Has a darker stash of the two?
I think Pelosi.
It varies. It depends on who has waxed who. And when they wax poetically,
I suspect neither one of them waxed down there. I don't think either of them waxed. Just saying. I shouldn't say that, should I?
Well, Nancy waxes because then she doesn't get whiskey in her whiskers. That's about it. So that's important there. All right, quick one
All right.
for all of you guys. And I was going to give you the EU one, but the EU's nuts, and that takes a long time. I'll see if we can get back to that.
Let's
Yeah,
do a quick
but congratulations.
Nathan's
yeah.
hot dogs. Nathan's hot dogs jumped. They got rid of champ Joey Chestnut from the contest because he was pushing these disgusting fake vegan dogs. Well, Nathan's is right. What's with these darn vegan types trying to make their food look and taste like meat? If they want meat that bad, then cut out the darn middleman and eat a dang hamburger, a real one. What's your take, Tony?
So I think there's a danger that we need to be aware of, and Susan maybe can help me back me up on this. There needs to be a warning label on Birkenstocks. The moment you put Birkenstocks on, your life changes. You start seeking to be way more, like fruity. Can I use that word on the air? I guess I did, and less cognizant of what's around you. It's like
no self-awareness.
They're like LSD infused. So when you wear the Birkenstocks, it kind of comes up and just kind of floats up there. So I think you had a dose of Birkenstock.
I don't think that smell is LSD.
They go well with burkas, though.
Burkas, that's right. Burkas and Birkenstocks.
Burkas and Birkenstocks. Huh.
Burkas.
I could do
They're
a show
very
on
modest shoes.
Oh my!
No toe cleavage there.
As oh my,
That's
oh my,
right.
as a certain Sulu would say. So oh my.
Well,
So-
that's another thing. We have to recognize certain ideologies as being seditious,
Yes.
and you don't allow them into your government.
Susan,
And there, Nancy Pelosi again. She thought it was so patriotic of Keith Ellison, who I admire greatly. He's a snake in the grass, but he's smart. I hate what he stands for, though. But she thought it was so patriotic because he used Thomas Jefferson's Quran to be sworn in. Well, maybe we don't use books of faith. Maybe we just use the Constitution.
maybe that's a good idea. Well, so the other thing, that Susan, I don't understand is how in Sharia law, women are literally considered cattle.
Chattel.
Cattle.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, the cattle's more important. They're much more useful.
Well, apparently, but that's my point. It's like, how do we allow any concept to exist within our nation that allows for that? Because the Constitution says all men and women are created equal, and yet somehow we're permitting a religion, extreme religion, I might add, that says that women are considered property. How do we permit that? I don't get that.
Because
they
we
vote
have,
Democrat.
okay, I call it Islamunism.
Yeah.
The far left and everything that was going on with the Frankfurt School, they found that their friends from the East could be very helpful in bringing down Western civilization. And so far, they have been very, very helpful. So the far left goes along with all of these principles of Islam. They know what they're doing, but they're trying to bring us down.
Yep.
Right.
That's true.
Yeah, you're right.
So anyway, Susan, I want you to come back and continue this discussion. I'd like to go through and have an entire show just on radical political Islam. I think, it'd be great to do. And
I could get a friend to join us who I think you'd like.
Do it.
That'd be cool.
I think Robert Spencer.
Line it up.
Let's get it done.
Yeah. Please.
Yeah.
I follow him.
I haven't seen him in so long. We never did a podcast together because
Well,
I was always in my counter jihad closet because my son was young.
Yeah.
But I'm coming
Let's do
out.
it. Chris, line it up. Yeah, it'll be great.
We'll
So
be
anyway,
done.
well, that wraps up another action-packed episode of The Hard Truth with Tony Shaffer. We've had Susan Olsen, my dear friend from Hollywood, who I love the stuff you talk about in post. Just saying, because I follow you closely, and I do everything I can. And obviously, Cherie was here and went off to do Gays Against Groomers podcast to go after that, continue that effort. Susan, we'll see Susan next week. Chris and I will be doing some stuff. We're filling in for Ed Henry on his Wake Up Patriots twice a week, Mondays and Tuesdays, right, Chris?
Cool.
You're on mute, so people aren't going to hear you. So.
Oh, absolutely. There we go.
Yeah. So anyway, so be sure and check us out on Rumble on Mondays and Fridays from 9 to 10 as well. So anyway, that's it for today. We'll be back next week with another hard-hitting episode of The Hard Truth with Tony Shaffer. We'll see you then. Bye.